Gonjiam Haunted Asylum is a 2018 found-footage horror film directed by Jung. Set in a fictional version of the real-world abandoned Gonjiam Asylum, the story centers on an internet show crew hoping to uncover the horrors lying within the haunted building. The film follows 7 main characters, all of which have Korean names that I'm not even going to try and pronounce because I'm going to butcher them. Thankfully, the character we're going to be focusing on today has a very English-sounding name, that being Charlotte. Regardless, we experience each of their points of views, or POVs, through the story through each character's personal recording device. This includes things like GoPros, body cams, and other recording devices as well, as they travel through the haunted asylum. Every aspect of the film is made to feel as authentic to a real YouTube web series as possible, from the aforementioned amateur filming style to the lack of music during the film, and even the subtle improvisations of the actors during their scenes. It all is made to truly feel real. All the discussed elements are part of the genre of horror films known as found footage, where the film tries to blur the lines of fiction and reality by attempting to make the film seem like real discovered footage. Found footage is extremely effective at conveying raw emotion and terror to the audience through the extremely personal nature of the POV we get during the film. And Gonjiam Haunted Asylum is no different. We are forced into the character's viewpoint during the film, so their unease becomes our unease. Their survival is our survival, and their terror is our terror as well. Additionally, there's no music to break the illusion that the film is a real series of events unfolding live before our eyes. However, of course, this was not a new technique used by films at all. By 2018, there are already so many films that use the found footage genre to their success, the most notable being the Blair Witch Project released in 1999. However, Gonjiam Haunted Asylum had one thing going for it that was quite different to most other found footage horror films at the time: the element of patience. Patience is an aspect that is absent from most horror films, but not Gonjiam Haunted Asylum. While most horror films opt to have fast-paced jump scares around every corner, this film takes a different approach to scaring the audience. It allows a scene to breathe, for the audience to take in the surroundings and become aware of every single micro movement, and to build suspense leading to a terrifying payoff. The best example of this is when the aforementioned Charlotte is in a scene where she's trapped inside this abandoned building alone, with only the light from her camera and flashlight to guide her. As she pans across the silent and empty room slowly, she keeps catching glances of things that appear and disappear within seconds. Eventually, as she pans to the floor and back up again, a figure appears and moves ever so slightly as she tries her best to hold in her fear. As she attempts to slowly back away and reach the exit, she soon realizes that the door is locked and begins screaming for help. With one final pan from the door to the figure, Charlotte is eventually attacked and dragged away into the darkness. In this scene, there's no intense score playing in the background, nor any sound effects when the creature appears. It just happens. The deafening silence as we, the audience, hope for Charlotte to make it out alive leaves us on the edge of our seats, constantly fearing for our protagonist's life. This is the power of patience in a horror film. Traditional Western horror films opt for more in-your-face horror with jump scares, loud orchestral scores, and fast-paced action, which is far different from what we see in this Eastern Korean film. However, despite the West's constant reliance on these tropes, Gonjiam Haunted Asylum is far scarier than anything that I've seen in Western horror. While I was terrified during the scene, the film gave me a chance to think and for my mind to wander. Allowing a scene to breathe lets the audience think about what could possibly happen, and leaves them in a constant state of high alert. This constant tension is usually far more effective as a mechanism to induce fear in the audience, rather than a jump scare which scares you once before our characters would move on. Our worst fears come from our own imagination, and that is what a patience in a film is relying on. The director of the film could come up with the scariest portrayal of a monster they can think of, but that won't scare every single person who watches the film. Instead, allowing the audience to think of what could happen or what might be lurking in the darkness is far scarier than anything that the director could make. We are our own worst enemy when it comes to ambiguity. We contemplate every possible option and land on what would be the most terrifying to us, and then spend the rest of our time hoping that the imagined option never comes to fruition. It's by using this mechanism that Gonjiam Haunted Asylum has become a cult classic Korean horror film, a film that lets the audience sit and wonder what terrifying things may lurk in the shadows.